For scapula upward rotation, the setup will be lying down flat on your back. You'll want to position yourself close to a door frame or a couch leg or something like that. It can't be a wall. There has to be enough room for your forearm to be kind of floating in space. So I'm going to show you a few different modifications here. The base version of this is going to be bringing your arm to about 70, 80 degrees of abduction away from your body. You want to get to about an inch away between your arm and the thing that you're pushing into. Now you're going to make up that distance by shrugging your shoulder and bringing your arm width to make contact with that object. So the intention here is to, and relax, upwardly rotate your shoulder and shrug it to some extent to bring that arm into contact. So we're generating the tension through all this upper trap shoulder stuff, not necessarily through deltoids as much. You might feel some, but the intention is really to bring the shoulder up towards the back of your head and your arm comes along for the ride, which then makes contact above the elbow so that we can add some resistance. So Brandon's gonna get to that correct position, go ahead and reset right here. Now he's gonna make that contact with me because he's shrugging his shoulder here, maintain that for the desired amount of time and intensity, and then he'll relax. Common mistakes here are to move up into this position, and instead of making up that distance by shrugging, you just make it up with your arm. So your shoulder stays in the same place. That is incorrect. Other common mistakes are to roll your arm into it to try to make that contact. Or if you contact something with your lower arm, your forearm here, you'd start spinning your forearm or bending your elbow or doing something else funky and weird that we're not going for here. This has to be made up, this distance right here, this inch, by shrugging your shoulder to make contact there. Muscles you should be feeling, things you should be engaging here are things like your upper traps, middle traps, lower traps, serratus. There's a lot of things that do this motion, but most people feel it kind of up here from the shoulder up into the neck. Another modification, if your shoulder does okay in this position, is to try and get it up to a 90-degree starting position, still have that inch of distance, now shrug to make that contact, increasing the pressure to the desired intensity via the muscles that are up on your shoulder blade. And then relax. You could also even do it a little further up if it feels okay on your shoulder. I still have that inch of distance here. Brandon's going to shrug to make that distance up. And then feel those muscles in the upper trap in particular contracting and working to drive that. And then relax. Another common compensation is to get out here, try to make up that distance, and then you find yourself, go ahead, pushing your shoulder up towards the ceiling or shoving it down into the table or the ground. This needs to be parallel with the table or the ground in terms of your direction of effort is all running parallel, all because you're trying to upwardly rotate that scapula to bring the arm width to contact that as your resistance.